bit different, right? Might make us laugh, but what's the facial expression shown here? Anger, mad, frustrated. Now, here's an important question that I want to ask. If we go to the next slide, in this particular slide, we see two pictures. If I was to ask you the question, you get to choose one of these children to look after for a day. Which one are you most likely to choose if you are sane? Some people will say the mad one, I'll take the mad one, but most people in their right mind will choose the one on the left because of the way it makes you feel, and you're like, well, that baby must be a delight to look after, and this other one, no way. I probably got some of those kids at home. Take them away. Take them away, right? You wouldn't want to spend time with that particular person just based on an image that we're looking at right now. Let's go to the next slide. What about looking at the picture that we showed? If we go, yep. Imagine you had a boss that was like this. Just for the live stream, someone just said, that looks like my mom. Okay, mom, if you're watching, over there. Imagine this is your boss. And you have a boss that is either a bully or somebody that intimidates you, somebody that just points the finger, or somebody that is stern and authoritarian type style. Would you want to have that person as your boss, or would you rather have a wonderful, loving, cheerful person like we see on the next slide? Let's get to the next one. Which one? Which one would you prefer? Daniel, that's actually Christos, but anyway. The point I'm trying to make, if we go to the next slide, is based on what we've seen, whether you see somebody, whether someone's lovable, whether somebody is negative or sad, or whether somebody is smiling or humorous or cool or angry, the image that we have of certain people deeply impacts the relationship that we have with them. All right, go to the next slide so that this is clear for you so that you can see it. Our image of a person deeply affects the relationship that we have with them. Or maybe put this way as well, go to the next slide. Our relationship or our image of a person deeply affects, if we go to the next slide please, deeply affects the time that we want to spend with certain individuals. Just based on your image. Think about this. Think about this. Think about that person in uni. Maybe in your first year of uni, you rocked up to your first class, just like we saw in the Avondale video where it said we went into our first class and there was prayer and it was wonderful, right? Praise God for Avondale. Praise God for that kind of place that instills that kind of values in people's lives. But think about, maybe you haven't been to Avondale, maybe you're at a different uni. And the first day that you rocked up to uni, you came into your first class, you sat down, and what do we do when we sit down and the class fills up? We start looking around, right? Checking out the room. Who's the fine people in the room? You start looking around. You look around and you say, oh, that person looks cute. I might want to spend a little more time with that person in the future, right? Or maybe get to know them. You look at other people like, oh, that person's got a lot of textbooks and is taking a lot of notes. Maybe I want to spend a bit more time with them when it comes time to exams and study. And, maybe I want to be in that person's study group, right? And maybe you look at another person that kind of looks maybe a little bit awkward, or, you look at them and you're like, oh, I don't think we'll hit it off. Maybe not my cup of tea. Based on a simple image. Maybe you rock up to church and you have a certain group of people that kind of fit the criteria of what you're looking for, and therefore you gravitate towards those people. And there's some other people, that person in church that sometimes you see them and you're like, oh my gosh, what excuse can I come up with if they come and talk to me? How can I get, away from this conversation as quick as possible? Based on the image that we have of someone deeply impacts the relationship that you have with them and the amount of time that you want to spend with that individual. Now, let's bring it into the spiritual realm right now. Let's get to the next picture that shows Jesus and his disciples. Jesus tried to teach this principle to his disciples. And he tried to make it very clear and very simple to them, because one day, Jesus, according to the book of Matthew chapter 6 that we read previously, and the book of Luke chapter 11, we see that Jesus used to spend a lot of time alone doing what? Praying. Now, did Jesus pray for a long time at times? Yeah. Yeah, Jesus prayed for hours. Jesus at times would pray from evening all the way till the very next morning. So one time he's praying and his disciples are always observing him, trying to check out what Jesus is going to do on his own. And they see that he's praying.